The lights above shimmered like stars, and for a moment, I believed this night was perfect. Ethan held my hand, smiling that same charming smile that made me fall for him. "Close your eyes, Ava," he whispered. I laughed softly. "What are you doing? Just trust me." I did. I always did. When I opened my eyes, he was kneeling, a small velvet box in his hand. Gasps filled the restaurant. My heart raced so fast I thought it might burst. "Oh my God, Ethan," I whispered. He looked up, eyes warm. "Ava Lynn, will you marry me?" The room erupted in applause. My hands trembled as tears filled my eyes. "Yes, of course, yes." He stood, slipped the ring on my finger, and kissed me. Cameras flashed. I heard laughter, clapping, my own heartbeat. For a second, I felt like the luckiest woman alive. Then his tone shifted. "Everyone, she really thought I meant it." The laughter changed. It wasn't joy, it was mockery. I froze. What did you say?" Ethan chuckled. "Relax, Ava. It was just a joke. You didn't really think I'd propose for real, did you?" The world went silent. My fingers went numb. "You're joking," he smirked. "I am. That's the point." Someone from the crowd laughed louder. "Guess she really thought she was the one." "Ethan, stop," I whispered. "You're embarrassing me." He shrugged. "Maybe you needed a little reminder. You've been getting too full of yourself lately." My chest tightened. "A reminder? Of what? That I'm a fool?" He leaned close, voice low but cruel. "That you're replaceable." The crowd murmured. I saw phones recording, faces I thought were friends, smirking. "Tell me this isn't real," I whispered. "Tell me this isn't happening." He smiled like it meant nothing. "Don't be so dramatic. It was just a prank." I slapped him. The sound cut through the room. Everyone went silent. My voice shook. "You humiliated me." His expression hardened. "You're too sensitive, Ava. This is why people leave you." Tears blurred my vision. "You said you loved me." "I say a lot of things," he muttered, adjusting his tie. "You should know by now words don't always mean forever." I couldn't breathe. My body moved before my mind did. I ran out, heels echoing on the marble floor, laughter chasing me like ghosts. Outside, rain poured down, soaking my hair, my dress, everything. I thought I was. I kept walking, I didn't know where. My phone buzzed nonstop. Messages, calls, probably him, probably them. I threw it into a puddle. The city lights blurred through the tears I swore I wouldn't let fall. "How could you, Ethan?" I whispered into the storm. "How could you make love feel like this?" I replayed his voice again and again. Replaceable. My reflection in a dark window stared back at me, red eyes, trembling lips, mascara bleeding down my face. I didn't even recognize the girl looking back. For a moment, I wanted to disappear. Then something inside me snapped. I clenched my fists and looked at the sky. "No more tears," I said quietly. "No more begging. No more waiting." The rain washed away the makeup, the fear, the softness he used against me. People passed, staring, whispering, but I didn't care. The humiliation burned, but under it a spark began to rise. I whispered, barely audible, but certain. "If love made me weak, then I'll learn to be strong without you." And for the first time that night, I didn't feel broken. I felt alive, angry, raw, and ready. The world blurred into gray. Days passed, but I didn't count them. I didn't answer calls, didn't eat, didn't sleep right. Every sound reminded me of him. Laughter, songs, even silence. Maya's voice kept filling my voicemail. "Ava, pick up. I swear I'll break your door down." I didn't move. I stared at the ceiling until I forgot how it felt to care. When she finally showed up, I barely reacted. She slammed the door behind her. "You look like hell." "Thanks," I muttered. "I'm serious." She looked around at the empty bottles and tissues. "You've been in here for a week?" "Maybe 2. I pulled the blanket tighter. "Time's kind of useless," she groaned. "You can't rot in here forever." "I'm not rotting," I said quietly. "I'm surviving." "Surviving?" She scoffed. "You call this surviving?" I met her eyes for the first time. "What else do you want me to do? Pretend it didn't happen?" "I want you to stop letting him win." Her voice cracked with anger. "He humiliated you in front of everyone, and now he gets to live rent-free in your head?" I looked away. "You don't understand." "Oh, I do." She sat beside me. "I know what it's like to give someone everything and watch them crush it like it meant nothing. But you don't see me hiding under blankets." I swallowed hard. "I can't just turn it off, Maya. It hurts." "Then make it hurt for a reason." she said sharply. Use it. Turn it into something. Her words cut through the fog. What do you mean? She leaned closer. You either stay broken, or you make him regret it. Something flickered inside me. Small, dangerous, alive. I whispered, revenge? Call it whatever you want. Just don't call it giving up. Silence stretched between us. The air felt heavy, but for the first time, I felt something other than pain. I stood slowly, walking toward the desk where my old journal sat. The cover was dusty, pages empty. I opened it, grabbed a pen, and stared at the blank paper. Maya watched quietly. What are you doing? Writing, I said. My voice didn't shake this time. What's the first thing on the list? I hesitated, then wrote the words down. Build something he can never touch. She smiled faintly. Now that sounds like the Ava I know. I closed the journal. The sound felt final, like a door shutting behind me. Maybe I'll start small, I said. A job, a plan, something that doesn't depend on anyone else. That's the spirit. Maya stood, brushing off her jeans. You don't need him to feel powerful. I nodded. No, I just need to remember who I was before he made me forget. As she left, I looked out the window. The city lights shimmered like tiny promises in the dark. For the first time in days, I smiled. Broken things don't heal overnight, I whispered, but they do heal. And this time, I swore I'd be the one who decided how. The office smelled the same burnt coffee and ambition. I hadn't been here since the night everything fell apart, but the moment I walked in, whispers followed me like shadows. Look who's back, someone muttered. I ignored it and forced a smile at my desk. My boss, Mr. Kent, waved me into his glass office. Ava, he said, too cheerful. Glad to see you recovered. Recovered? I repeated. I wasn't sick. He cleared his throat. You know what I mean. Personal matters. I folded my arms. What do you need? He slid a folder toward me. New client. Big account. You'll love this one. I opened it and froze. The logo at the top read Coal Dynamics. My pulse spiked. You're joking. No joke, he said. Ethan's company is expanding. We're handling their campaign. I laughed, sharp and bitter. You want me to promote the man who humiliated me? Kent sighed. Ava, business is business. Don't make it personal. It is personal, I snapped. He made sure of that. You're being emotional again, he said calmly. You'll need to be professional if you want to stay here. Something inside me cracked. Then maybe I shouldn't, he frowned. You're quitting? I'm choosing self-respect. I stood, grabbed my bag, and said quietly, good luck with your campaign. The elevator doors closed, and I felt my chest loosen for the first time in months. But beneath the relief was something else, hunger. I walked into the cafe across the street, still shaking. A man at the corner table looked up from his laptop and said, rough day. I blinked. Excuse me? He smiled slightly. You slammed your bag down like you were starting a war. Maybe I am. Good, he said. Wars make interesting people. I frowned. Do I know you? Daniel Hart, he said, standing to shake my hand. Hart Capital. I overheard part of your conversation in there. I raised an eyebrow. You were eavesdropping? I call it observing opportunity. His gaze was sharp but calm. You handled yourself well. Not many people walk away from a paycheck. I didn't walk away, I said. I just refused to kneel. He chuckled. Same thing in this city. I stared at him, wary. What do you want from me? Nothing, he said simply. But I could offer something to you. I hesitated. Like what? A chance to build something of your own. You've got ideas, anger, and brains, a dangerous mix when used right. I looked at him carefully. You don't even know me. I don't need to, he said. I can see it in your eyes. You're done being the victim. His words hit too close. And if I say yes, then I'll teach you how to make power work for you instead of against you. Silence hung between us. My heart beat faster, not from fear, but from recognition. I said softly, I hate needing help. He smiled. Then think of it as strategy. I met his gaze. Fine, but I'm not doing this to impress anyone. Good, he said. Do it to win. When he left his card on the table, I stared at it for a long time. I whispered to myself, no more being powerless. And just like that, I took the first step toward becoming someone Ethan would never recognize. Why fashion? Daniel asked, leaning back in his chair. Because people wear their strength, I said. I want women to feel invincible when they walk out the door. He studied me for a moment. Then prove it. Show me something worth investing in. I don't have investors, I admitted. Or a team? Or a name? He smiled faintly. Good. It means you have nothing to lose. That was how Elysian was born at a scratched coffee table with an empty notebook and a stubborn heart. For weeks, I sketched designs, cold-called factories, and begged suppliers to take me seriously. Most didn't. This isn't personal, one of them said. We just can't take a risk on a new brand. It's always personal, I replied, hanging up Tea night. I lay awake replaying Ethan's laughter in my mind, that cruel smirk, that mocking tone. It burned like gasoline in my veins. Maya dropped by one afternoon, tossing takeout onto my desk. You look like a corpse. I'm working, I mumbled. You're obsessing, she shot back. When's the last time you slept? Sleep doesn't build empires, she sighed. You're scaring me, Ava. I'm fine. No, you're not. You're talking like him. Her words stung. Don't compare me to Ethan. I'm not. I'm reminding you what you're fighting against. Don't let his ghost run your life. I didn't answer. Instead, I opened my laptop and pointed at the logo design. Look, what do you think? She squinted. Elysian, it's beautiful. Means divine, I said softly. Like rising from ashes. Maya smiled. Now that's the Ava I know. Later that week, Daniel called me into his office. His tone was calm, but his eyes sharp. You're too cautious. I'm careful, I said. No, you're scared. I'm building something real and you're building it slow, he interrupted. You want power? Then stop asking for permission. The words hit me harder than I expected. You think I'm weak? He shook his head. I think you're still waiting for someone to validate you. That's weakness. I clenched my fists. I don't need validation. Then act like it. I left his office angry, not because he was wrong, but because he was right. That night, I launched the online campaign without approval, without backup, without fear. I posted the story of Elysian, my story, a woman rebuilding herself from ruins. Maya texted 5 minutes later. You did it. You actually did it. Noah called after. Sis, people are sharing your post. It's everywhere. I could hear pride in his voice, and for once, I felt it too. By morning, I had hundreds of messages, women thanking me, strangers asking to buy, trolls doubting I'd last. I read every word, breathing them in like fire. Daniel called again. You disobeyed me. I took initiative, I corrected. A pause, then a quiet chuckle. Good, now you're starting to understand. Understand what? That no one gives you power, he said. You take it. When the first orders came in, I stood by the window, watching the sunrise spill gold across the city. For the first time since Ethan broke me, I felt alive, not because I'd healed, but because I'd learned how to fight. I whispered to myself, I'm not breathing pain anymore. I'm breathing fire. And this time, I wasn't afraid to burn. The interviewer smiled at me from across the table. Ava Lynn, the woman behind Elysian, you've become an overnight sensation. How does it feel? I smiled back, careful and poised. It doesn't feel overnight. It feels earned. She laughed lightly. Your campaign went viral. People say your designs tell a story. Resilience, rebirth. Was that intentional? I looked at the camera. Everything I create comes from a place of survival. Pain makes good art, doesn't it? Her eyes glimmered. Is that a reference to someone in particular? My lips curved slightly. Let's just say sometimes losing everything shows you what you were meant to build. There was a pause, soft but sharp. Everyone in the room knew who I meant. She leaned forward. You've faced rejection, humiliation, and yet you've turned it into power. Do you ever think about the people who doubted you? Every day, I said. But not with hate, with gratitude. Her eyebrows lifted. Gratitude? They taught me what not to be. The room went quiet for a moment before she said, That's powerful. When the interview ended, I exhaled slowly. Maya appeared beside me, holding my phone. You just broke the internet again. I smiled faintly. Good. She grinned. You threw shade at Ethan so gracefully it looked like sunlight. That wasn't the goal, I said, though the satisfaction in my chest betrayed me. She laughed. Sure, Ava. Keep telling yourself that. My phone buzzed again, dozens of notifications, interviews, offers. I scrolled through the comments. She's an icon. This is what revenge looks like. Cold dynamics who? Each one lit a small fire inside me. Maya leaned over. You okay? I don't know, I admitted. It feels good but also strange. Strange how? Like I'm feeding off something that should have hurt, she shrugged. Maybe that's what healing looks like. Or maybe it was revenge I couldn't tell anymore. Later that night, Daniel called. Congratulations. The numbers are climbing faster than projected. I sat by my window, city lights glimmering below. Thank you. You sound calm, he said. Not excited? I am, I said quietly. But part of me keeps wondering if this is victory or vengeance. He paused. Why can't it be both? Because one frees you, I whispered. The other keeps you chained. He didn't argue. Whatever it is, you're winning. Don't question the fire, use it. After we hung up, I opened my laptop. The trending page was filled with my face, my brand, my words. And then I saw it. Ethan's company had released a statement denying false rumors of misconduct. Maya texted instantly. He's losing control. I stared at his name glowing on the screen. My heart didn't ache this time, it hummed with quiet satisfaction. He must be furious, I murmured. Noah called a minute later. Sis, you're everywhere. Mom's crying. Dad finally admitted you're cooler than his boss. I laughed softly. Tell him it's about time. But when I hung up, the laughter faded. I stared at the skyline, where the city looked endless, glittering, powerful. He'll see it, I whispered. Every ad, every article. He'll see me. And he did. Hours later, his number flashed across my screen. I didn't answer. I just watched it ring until it stopped. Maybe this was revenge. Maybe healing. I couldn't tell. All I knew was that I'd built something untouchable, and somewhere out there, Ethan Cole was choking on his own regret. The message came late at night. Ethan, can we talk? Just once. I need closure. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I almost deleted it, but curiosity was poison, and I was still learning not to drink it. I replied, 1 hour. Calf on 5th. Don't be late. When he walked in, he looked smaller somehow. Same perfect hair, same tailored suit, but the arrogance was gone. Ava, he said softly. You look different. I am different. I gestured to the seat. Sit, he obeyed, like he wasn't sure if he had permission. I didn't think you'd actually come, he said. I almost didn't. I leaned back. But I figured ghosts deserve a funeral. He winced. You think of me as a ghost? That's generous, I said. Ghosts usually haunt something worth remembering. He gave a shaky laugh. You've changed. You made sure of that. Silence. The sound of coffee cups clinking filled the space between us. Finally, he said, I didn't reach out to fight. I just needed to say I'm sorry. I raised an eyebrow. Sorry for what? The public humiliation? The betrayal? Or the way you smiled while you did it? His jaw tightened. All of it. Too late. I know, he said quickly. I messed up, Ava. I was stupid. I thought hurting you would make me feel powerful again. But it didn't. It ruined me. I stared at him, searching for sincerity. Maybe it was there, buried under guilt. Or maybe he was just scared of karma catching up. You're not here for closure, I said. You're here for redemption. I'm here because I can't stop thinking about you, he admitted. I laughed, sharp and humorless. You think that's romantic? You broke me, Ethan. You didn't lose me, you killed who I was. He looked down. And you came back stronger. Don't turn my survival into your compliment, he sighed. I saw your interview. You were amazing. So you watched? Of course. Everyone did. He gave a small smile. You've built something incredible, something you can't touch, I said quietly. He nodded, eyes glassy. I deserved that, deserved worse. He looked at me, then really looked, and for the first time, I saw it. Fear. Not of me, but of himself. He whispered, do you ever miss it? Us? I hesitated, just for a heartbeat. My chest tightened, traitorous. The memories flashed. His laughter, his warmth, the version of him I used to love. I swallowed hard. Sometimes, I admitted, but missing something doesn't mean wanting it back. He leaned forward. Did you ever love me? The question hung heavy between us. My pulse quickened, but I didn't look away. I did, I said finally, my voice calm, cold, steady. And that's my biggest regret. His face fell, like the words struck deeper than he expected. I'm sorry, he whispered again. I know, I said, standing. That's what makes it worse. I left him sitting there, staring into the space where I used to belong. As I walked out, the night air hit me like freedom. My heart hurt, but it wasn't weakness anymore, it was the sting of healing. I didn't look back. Ghosts only have power when you let them. Your numbers are insane, Daniel said, scrolling through his tablet. 3 million in sales last quarter. You've officially built an empire. I smiled faintly. That's what I wanted, right? He didn't look up. You tell me. The silence stretched. I poured myself a coffee just to fill it. You don't sound proud. I'm impressed, he said finally. Just not sure if you're happy. I didn't build illusion to be happy, I said. I built it to never feel powerless again. He glanced at me. And yet you sound exhausted. I'm fine. You keep saying that, because it's true, he sighed, closing the tablet. You've become sharp, Ava. Maybe too sharp. I laughed softly. Isn't that what you taught me? To stop asking for permission? Yes, he said quietly, but not to stop being human. I didn't answer. I didn't know how. Later that evening, Maya dropped by my office. She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. You missed dinner again. I was working. You're always working. Someone has to keep this running. She walked closer. No one's asking you to bleed for it. I'm not bleeding, I said, staring at my computer screen. Then why do you look like you haven't slept in days? I exhaled. Because every time I close my eyes, I see him watching me fail. Maya frowned. Ethan? Yes. My voice cracked. He's still in my head, Maya, even after everything. Then you need to get him out. Before you turn into him. Her words hit harder than I wanted to admit. You think I'm like him? I think you're becoming obsessed with control, she said softly. He was too. I'm nothing like Ethan. Keep telling yourself that. I wanted to scream, but instead I whispered, he broke me. I just learned to build from the pieces. Then make sure the pieces still look like you, she said before leaving. I sat alone, staring at my reflection in the black screen of my laptop, strong, cold, unfamiliar. The next morning, Sophie Reed, a name I hadn't heard in years, called my office. I need to see you, she said. I almost laughed. You hated me in college. I did, she admitted. But I don't hate you now. I'm warning you. About what? She hesitated. Ethan, his company's planning something, a smear campaign, fake audits, maybe even data leaks. He wants your investors to panic. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. You're sure? Positive. I heard it myself. I clenched my jaw. Why tell me? Because you don't deserve to lose what you built, not to him. Her voice was steady, but my pulse wasn't. Thank you, I said quietly. Just be careful. He's desperate, and desperate men don't fight fair. After she hung up, I sat in silence, staring at the city outside my office window. My empire glowed beneath the skyline. Fragile, alive, mine, Daniel called minutes later. We've got an issue, he said. Rumors spreading online. Someone's leaking internal data. I closed my eyes. It's him. He paused. Ethan? Yes. I stood, gripping the desk until my knuckles whitened. He wants to destroy what I built. Daniel's tone hardened. Then what do we do? I looked at my reflection again. The woman I'd become. We fight back. He hesitated. Careful, Ava. Don't let this consume you. I smirked, voice low. It already did. The city lights reflected in the glass like flames. My thoughts darkened, calm and certain. He wanted war. Fine. I wasn't the same girl he left behind. Are you sure you want to do this? Daniel asked, his voice low, calm. Too calm. Yes, I said, staring at the file on my laptop. This is justice. He leaned back. Justice or vengeance? Does it matter? He met my eyes. It always does. I clicked the mouse anyway. The documents, proof of Ethan's fraud, embezzlement, and forged reports were sent anonymously to every major outlet, a single email. And the man who ruined me was about to watch his empire burn. Daniel exhaled. You just started a war. I smiled faintly. No, I'm ending one. Within hours, the headlines exploded. Coal Dynamics under investigation. CEO accused of fraud. Sources claim insider leaks. I watched it unfold on the giant screen in my office. Reporters, investors, chaos. It was beautiful. In a terrifying way, Maya stormed in, waving her phone. Ava. What did you do? What I had to. Don't lie to me. Her voice shook. You leaked it. Didn't you? I didn't deny it. He deserved worse. He humiliated you, yes, she said. But this is destroying him. He destroyed me first. I whispered. That's not the point. She slammed her hand on my desk. You're not fixing anything. You're just winning, I said coldly. For once, I'm winning. Maya looked at me like she didn't recognize me. You sound like him. That hurt more than I wanted to admit. I'm nothing like Ethan. Keep telling yourself that, she said quietly before walking out. When the door closed, Daniel spoke again. She's right to worry. I turned sharply. Don't start. He studied me. I'm not judging you. I'm impressed. Impressed? You were timid when we met. Now, you terrify people. Good, I said. Fear keeps them honest. He smirked. You sound like someone who's forgotten what honesty feels like. I didn't respond. Instead, I looked at the screen again, Ethan's face flashing on the news, pale and angry. I could almost hear his voice, the same cruel laughter from that night. But this time, the laughter was gone. The reporter said, Ethan Cole's assets have been frozen pending investigation. I whispered, that's what betrayal costs. Daniel watched me. Do you feel better now? I hesitated. No, I feel lighter. Lighter? Like something inside me burned away. He nodded slowly. Fire purifies, but it also destroys what's left. The guilt came later, quiet and unexpected. I sat in my office long after everyone left, scrolling through the chaos I'd caused. Claire's name appeared in a headline. Claire Evans cuts ties with Cole Dynamics. I remembered her smile, fake but fragile. Smart move, I muttered. Run while you can. My reflection on the screen stared back, unblinking, composed, victorious. But underneath, I could feel the hollow space where remorse should have lived. Maya texted one sentence. You're losing yourself? Maybe she was right. Maybe I was. But as I stared at Ethan's downfall, I felt something raw, satisfaction tangled with sorrow. Revenge felt good, I whispered to the empty room. But why does it still hurt? No answer came, only the hum of the city outside. I closed my laptop, the glow fading into darkness. For the first time, I wondered if winning and losing were just two sides of the same fire. The news hit like a thunderstorm. Cole Dynamics files for bankruptcy. I stared at the headline, expressionless. It was over. The empire he'd built on arrogance had finally collapsed. Daniel read over my shoulder. You did it. I didn't do anything, I said quietly. He did it to himself. He gave me a look. You lit the match. Maybe, I admitted. But he poured the gasoline. Before I could say more, my phone buzzed. A message. Ethan. Please. Just one meeting. I need to see you. Daniel frowned. Don't. I have to, I said. I need to see what's left. The cafe where we met was almost empty. He sat in the corner, unshaven, eyes red-rimmed, suit wrinkled. When he saw me, he tried to smile. You came. I'm not sure why. Because you still care, he said softly. No, I replied. Because I wanted to see the man who thought he could destroy me. He flinched. I didn't destroy you. You tried. He nodded, shame flickering in his eyes. And I failed. For a long time, we said nothing. The silence between us felt heavier than words. He finally whispered, I lost everything. I know. My investors pulled out. Claire left. The media, he exhaled shakily. They're calling me a fraud. A fitting title, I said. He looked up, desperate. Ava, I need you to understand. I never meant to hurt you like that. I almost laughed. You humiliated me in front of a room full of people, Ethan. What part of that wasn't intentional? His voice cracked. I was scared. Of what? Of you. That caught me off guard. Me? He nodded. You were stronger than me, smarter. You made me feel small, and I hated it. I thought if I broke you, I'd get control back. I stared at him, stunned. You wanted to destroy me to feel powerful? He didn't answer. The silence was enough. He leaned forward, eyes pleading. I loved you, Ava. I swear I did. I just didn't know how to love someone who didn't need me. I felt something twist inside me, not pity, not love, just understanding. You didn't love me, I said. You wanted to own me. He shook his head. No, I wanted us to be equals. Equals? I repeated. You mocked me, doubted me, and called me replaceable. That's not equality, Ethan, that's insecurity. He lowered his gaze. I see that now. I stood. Too late. He grabbed my wrist, voice trembling. Don't go, please. Just tell me you felt something once. I looked at him, really looked, and saw not the monster I once hated, but the broken man behind the mask. I did, I said softly. And that's my mistake to remember. His grip loosened. His eyes filled with tears. You're not the same. No, I said. The girl who begged for your love died long ago. He blinked, confused. Then who are you now? I smiled faintly. The woman who buried her under the empire she built. I pulled my hand free and turned to leave. Behind me, I heard his quiet sob, raw, human, real, but I didn't turn around. Not this time. Outside, the air was cold, but it felt clean. I breathed in, steady and strong. Ethan Cole had fallen, and I finally understood. I never needed to defeat him. I only needed to outgrow him. The applause echoed long after the event ended. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted my name, and people clapped like I was some kind of hero. I smiled for them, for the headlines, for the cameras, for the empire I'd built, but inside, I felt nothing. When the doors finally closed behind me, the silence hit harder than the noise ever could. Daniel found me backstage, still holding the glass award I'd just received. You should be celebrating, he said. I am. Really? I glanced at him. Isn't this what we wanted? You wanted it, he said. I just helped you build it. Then why do you sound disappointed? He sighed. Because you don't look proud, Ava. You look empty. I'm just tired. No, he said quietly. You're hollow. I set the award down on the table. You think I've lost my soul? I think you traded it for control. I laughed, sharp and bitter. Control was all I ever had to fight for. Maybe, he said. But now that you have it, what's left? I looked away. Peace, maybe. If I can find it. He crossed his arms. You won't find peace in power. You of all people should know that. His words stung because they were true. Then tell me, Daniel, what was all this for? He didn't answer right away. You wanted to prove you didn't need him. You did that. But now you're proving you don't need anyone, and that's not strength. That's fear. I'm not afraid, I whispered. Then why do you keep building walls around yourself? I clenched my fists. Because walls don't betray you. He softened. Neither do people who actually care. I felt my throat tighten. I cared once. It almost killed me. Then maybe you should start caring for yourself, he said gently. Not for revenge. Not for applause. For you. The silence that followed was suffocating. Finally, I sat down, staring at the reflection of the award in the glass window, cold, gleaming, meaningless. Daniel took a step closer. You've built an empire, Ava. But tell me honestly, are you happy? I swallowed hard. I thought I would be. And now it just feels quiet. He nodded slowly. That's not peace. That's emptiness. I wanted to argue, but I couldn't. The truth sat heavy in my chest. He touched my shoulder lightly. When was the last time you let yourself feel anything real? The answer came out before I could stop it. The day he broke me. Daniel's voice softened. Then maybe it's time you cried for something that matters, not for him, but for you. Something inside me cracked. My breath hitched, and before I knew it, the tears came hot, unstoppable, raw. Daniel said nothing. He just stood there while I finally broke, quietly, painfully, beautifully. When the sobs slowed, I whispered, I thought revenge would fix me. He shook his head. Revenge doesn't heal. It just distracts you from the wound. I looked at him through tear-blurred eyes. Then what does heal? He smiled sadly. Forgiveness, not for him. For yourself. The room was silent again. But this time it wasn't empty. For the first time, I wasn't crying for Ethan. I was crying for me, the girl I'd buried under ambition and anger, and maybe. Finally, I was ready to dig her out. The knock came just as I was locking up for the night. When I opened the door, I froze. Mrs. Cole stood there, Ethan's mother, her eyes tired but kind. Mrs. Cole? I asked. What are you doing here? She held out a small white envelope. He wanted you to have this. I stared at it, untouched. From Ethan? She nodded. He left town yesterday. Said he needed to start over. Running away again, I murmured. Her expression softened. He's not the same boy anymore, Ava. Neither am I. She looked at me for a long moment. He asked me to tell you he's sorry, truly sorry. I've heard that before, I said quietly. This time, I think he meant it. She placed the envelope in my hand. He said you'd understand once you read it. I wanted to refuse, but curiosity, that old, dangerous thing, stirred in my chest. Thank you, I said. Would you like to come in? She shook her head. No, I just wanted to deliver it myself. For closure. As she turned to leave, I asked softly, did he seem okay? She hesitated. He looked lost. But maybe losing you made him see himself. I nodded slowly. Then maybe it was worth it. When she was gone, I stared at the letter for what felt like hours. My name was written in his handwriting, familiar, careless, still haunting. Finally, I sat by the window and opened it. Ava, it began. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even deserve for you to read this. But I needed to say what I never had the courage to. I took a deep breath and kept reading. I thought control was power. I thought love made me weak. But you proved me wrong. You turned the ashes I left you in into something greater than anything I could build. You were never beneath me. You were beyond me. My throat tightened. Losing you wasn't karma. It was justice. I broke something perfect because I couldn't handle how small I felt next to it. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to understand why I destroyed the only person who ever believed in me. I blinked back tears I didn't expect. If there's any mercy left in you, don't pity me. Just remember me as the man who finally learned to late what love really was. It ended with his name shaky, almost broken. For a long moment, I just sat there, letter trembling in my hands. There was no joy, no anger, only quiet understanding. He hadn't written to win me back. He'd written to set himself free. I stood, walked to the fireplace, and dropped the letter into the flames. The paper curled, blackened, turned to smoke. Watching it burn, I whispered, "You finally learned what I already knew. I was never the weak one." The last ember faded. And with it, the last ghost of him, for the first time. Silence felt like peace. The room buzzed with quiet conversation as I stepped onto the stage. Rows of women, leaders, dreamers, survivors looked up at me. The lights were bright, but this time, I wasn't afraid of them. I took a breath and began. A few years ago, I thought losing someone meant losing myself. I was wrong. A soft murmur rippled through the crowd. I learned that heartbreak doesn't destroy you, it shapes you. Pain is just another form of power when you decide to use it. Someone in the front row wiped a tear. I smiled faintly. You don't have to forgive everyone who hurt you. Sometimes forgiveness isn't peace, it's permission for them to do it again. Real peace comes when you finally forgive yourself for staying too long. Applause filled the hall, warm and genuine. When the event ended, Maya rushed up to me, hugging me tight. You made half the audience cry. I laughed softly. Then I did my job. She pulled back, grinning. You've changed so much, Ava. You look lighter. I feel lighter, I said. Like I finally put something down I didn't know I was carrying. Daniel appeared beside us, hands in his pockets, that familiar calm smile on his face. You were incredible up there. Thank you, I said. Coming from you, that means something. He tilted his head. I remember when you couldn't even say your name without it shaking. I remember too, I said, smiling. That girl was terrified of the world, but she still showed up. Maya nudged Daniel playfully. She's humble now. Who would have thought? He chuckled. I'm proud of you, Ava. Something warm flickered in my chest. You helped me see what power really means. Power isn't control, he said. It's choice. I know, I said. And for once, I'm choosing peace. Maya grinned. So no more revenge speeches? No mysterious late-night business calls? I laughed. No more revenge. No more ghosts. Daniel looked at me for a long moment. You're finally free, aren't you? I nodded. Yeah. I stopped chasing justice the day I realized I already had it. He raised an eyebrow. Meaning? Meaning, I said. The universe doesn't always punish people for what they did to you. Sometimes it rewards you for surviving it. He smiled softly. Then I hope the universe keeps rewarding you. It already has, I said. We stepped outside, the evening air cool and calm. The city lights reflected against the glass buildings. Not a battlefield anymore, but a mirror of everything I'd built. Maya linked her arm through mine. Where to next, boss? Home, I said simply. To my family, to myself. For once, that's enough. Daniel nodded. You deserve that. As they walked ahead, I lingered for a moment, watching the skyline shimmer. Once, I built an empire to prove a point. Now, I carried peace like a crown no one could take. I whispered to myself, this is the woman I became. And this time, it didn't sound like a promise, it sounded like truth. The restaurant hadn't changed. Same red velvet seats, same dim lighting, same soft jazz humming through the speakers. But I wasn't the same girl who once sat here, waiting for love and getting humiliation instead. The hostess smiled politely. Table for one? Yes, I said. By the window. When I sat down, I ran my fingers over the smooth surface of the table, the same one where Ethan had once dropped to one knee, pretending to propose before turning my life into a punchline. This time, I laughed first. The waiter approached. Can I get you something to drink? I smiled. A glass of red wine. The same one I ordered that night. He nodded and walked away. I leaned back, watching couples talk and laugh around me. Once, that sight used to sting. Now, it just looked normal. The waiter returned with the drink. Here you go, ma'am, thank you. I lifted the glass, studying the reflection of the city lights in the crimson liquid. To old ghosts, I whispered. A voice behind me said, You come here often? I turned. Daniel stood there, hands in his pockets, smiling faintly. Didn't expect to see you here. Neither did I said. I guess I just wanted to see where it all started. He nodded, sliding into the seat across from me. Closure? Maybe. I sipped the wine. Or maybe just peace. He glanced around. Does it still hurt? I thought about it, then shook my head. No, the pain left when I stopped trying to rewrite the past. Daniel studied me for a moment. You've really come full circle, haven't you? I have. I smiled softly. He broke my heart into pieces, but each piece became a brick in my empire. Daniel's eyes softened. That's poetic. It's true, I said. Every scar built something. Every tear paid for a lesson. He leaned forward. So what now? Now, I said, setting the glass down. I live. He laughed. Simple as that? Simple doesn't mean easy, I said. It just means it's finally mine. The waiter came by with the bill. Daniel reached for it, but I stopped him. This one's on me. He raised an eyebrow. Symbolic? Completely. I signed the slip and stood up. As we walked toward the exit, I glanced back one last time. The same table, the same spot. Only this time, it wasn't a battlefield. It was a memory. Daniel held the door open. Ready to go? I looked at the rain falling softly outside. I was ready years ago. I just didn't know it. He smiled. Then let's go. I stepped out into the night, heels clicking against the wet pavement. The air cool and clean, the city lights shimmered like tiny promises, not of revenge or redemption, but of life beyond pain. I didn't look back. I didn't need to, because this time, I wasn't walking away in pain. I was walking away in power.